has ever been to this place. Therefore, Santucci has an experience advantage here just on the fact that he's raced here for 2 decades.
Now we get to really find out in the center part of the season, Brett, whether the Federle-McCulloch combination is truly as bulletproof as everybody seems to think it is, because they're racing the veteran, D.A. Santucci. We're ready to go. The Thunderbird moves into stage. McCulloch ready to go as well. Taking his time, he moves in, ready for the green light. Here it comes. They're out of the gate. McCulloch leads. McCulloch smokes the tires just a little bit, and McCulloch wins at the quarter mile. Ed the Ace McCulloch, 5:73 at 2:60. Santucci, runner-up, 5:88 and 2:54.
Tell you, McCulloch may have stumbled at the recent Spring Nationals, but he's tough to beat this time around. Now, I'll tell you, here's another guy who ran a career best in qualifying at 5.52 seconds. A guy who's been racing again at this racetrack since the mid-1960s. Bruce Larson from Dauphin, Pennsylvania. Little town on the banks of the Susquehanna River and the Appalachian Mountains, moves up against R.C. Sherman and the Ray Bestos clutches Olds. Both pre-staged, 6 inches from the starting line proper. As soon as the second yellows come on, they're ready. They leave the starting line side by side, but here comes Bruce Larson. The man cannot be beat this weekend. Train lengthening R.C. Sherman, 5.74 seconds, and by 100th of a second, he misses lane choice in the final round. But John, more importantly, it's the second national event final in 2 weeks for Bruce Larson after he had never been in a final round for 25 years.
We're about to show our fans a bizarre form of drag racing entertainment. This called the wind-up pickup truck. Brett, tell us about it.
This is Danny O'Day driving what is known in drag racing as a wheel stander, a rear-engine supercharged Ford-powered Ranger pickup, taking a quarter-mile run on the rear wheels, all the way down, controlled like a tank with independent rear brakes, and through the lights at 128 miles an hour in the 10-second zone.
Incredible. Here's the Alcohol Funny Car semi-final round. Coming up now, Ace Menzo against Peter Gallen. They're ready to sprint down the quarter mile. 500 plus cubic inch alcohol burning drag racing Hemi engines. An Oldsmobile versus a Ford as they sprint away from the starting line. And Menzo, off on a beautiful pass, wins at the quarter mile. The elapsed time for Ace Menzo, 6:28 at 2:21. Gallen, the runner-up, 0.04 of a second slower at 6:32.
I tell you, that is one of Manzo's best ever runs, and he also, from a small town in New Jersey, is a hometown racer. But here's the man we've seen on ESPN this year dominate this category of alcohol-burning funny car. From Texas, in a phenomenal side-by-side smoky burnout with Arnie Karp, is Dal Denton, the sudden pleasure racer. Earlier, Pat talked to Arnie Karp of the Boston Strangler.
We're with Arnie Karp, who's one of the leading top alcohol funny car drivers anywhere in America today. And Arnie, I know you're excited because getting a new sponsorship in this business and this time and day, you have got to have some money to make these things work, and Mountain Dew's come on to help you. That's got to be great for you.
That's true. Mountain Dew's helped us a lot this year. With the help of Billy Griffith from Pepsi-Cola and Mountain Dew, we've bought some new equipment and really updated our technology, and it's really helped us out. We've done real well this year.
Arnie Karp in a Mountain Dew Oldsmobile back into stage against Dal Denton and the lighting and fans of Nashville Pontiac Trans Am. Denton, #1 qualifier in the program at 6:24, had an easy pass in the first round as Carol Hinson broke. Arnie Karp has run down this quarter mile at 6.38 seconds. So Denton is going to really have to step up if he's going to beat the quickening Arnie Karp.
You know, it's interesting to note, John, that Dal Denton's wife is in attendance at this event this weekend for the first time this year. And Dal's already won 3 national events after his wife couldn't make it to the drag races for the first time. Let's hope that's not an indicator that his luck's going to change. Obviously, she is worried about his luck changing. Arnie Karp has a slight advantage, as you pointed out. Both machines utilizing alcohol burning, supercharged aluminum Chrysler Hemi engines. RPM's up to about 5,000, waiting for the green light. They leave the line, and Arnie Karp red lights. Unbelievable good break for Dal Denton. Karp takes it through on a foul. In fact, Arnie Karp runs 6:27 at 225 miles an hour, top speed of the meet, wasted on a red light.
We'll be back with Pro Stock from the Summer Nationals.
Introducing Ambervic.
We're back at the IHRA Summer Nationals, Atco Raceway, Atco, New Jersey. John Lundberg, Brett Kepner, and Pat Patterson as Ricky Smith prepares to do battle in the semi-final round of Pro Stock Eliminator.
Ricky will be battling the biggest upset maker of this race in Pro Stock. George Cable driving Emil Eckroth's machine, and as the motorcraft balloon above waves in the wind, Cable gets ready to battle probably the toughest man he's ever had to face, Ricky Smith, the defending world champ. Now remember, Cable beat Tim Neighbors in the first round, a guy who we saw runner-up this year at the Texas Nationals. The second round, he beat Charlie Garrett, who made it to the semifinals of the Pro-Am Nationals. This guy is strong.
Ricky Smith, 2 runs within 0.04 of a second of each other, 7:37 and 7:41. Cable, 7:52 and 7:53 is work cut out for him. Stages ready to race. The Motorcraft Quality Parts Ford Thunderbird of the world champion. They're out of the gate. They move well. Cable goes well from the starting line. Ford and Chevrolet, but Bubba's working for Ricky Smith, and the Ford wins at the quarter mile. The elapsed time for Smith, 7:45 at 1:89. Cable, 7:57 at 1:83.29. Runner-up. Here's Pat Patterson with our Quaker State Quick Fact.
In the world of professional motorsports today, sponsorship is everything. On Ricky Smith's Thunderbird right here, Motorcraft is displayed as the major sponsor on the race car. However, there are some behind-the-scenes sponsors that also pay off at each event if you win or if you're the runner-up on those particular events. These are called contingency sponsors, and they're displayed along the bottom panel of the race car. Now, obviously, their in is to have their decal displayed. You run their parts and equipment, and if you finish first or if you're a runner-up, each one of these individuals post a specific amount of money that will be added to your purse for winning or being runner-up at a particular event. Obviously, we got to have money to go fast. Sponsorship from Motorcraft keeps Ricky Smith running fast, but the contingency sponsors down here keep all the drivers and the series moving on into the future.
Thanks, Pat. Here's the other Motorcraft Ford Thunderbird, Bob Glidden. Low elapsed time of the first round, low elapsed time of the second round, and #1 qualifier, Brett, against the last GM car standing in the way of an all-Motorcraft final, Frank Iaconio.
This will be interesting because we saw Ricky Smith lose another 0.04 of a second somewhere. He's slowing down. The question is it just the air quality out there today, or is Ricky running into problems? Glidden and Iaconio will tell us. Frank in the Super Shops Trans Am needs a whole shot to get around the Motorcraft Thunderbird. Glidden waiting ever so patiently, finally moves in. RPM's up, they leave the starting line. The whole shot goes to Iaconio by 0.06 of a second. Iaconio out in front for Pontiac on the top end. Glidden drives around him. 7:36. Glidden actually improves 0.01 of a second, and that spells trouble for Ricky Smith. Obviously, Frank Iaconio isn't thrilled right now either, but it will once again be an all-Ford Motorcraft Thunderbird final round in Pro Stock Eliminator. The Glidden crew thrilled as always back on the starting line. They will head back to the pits with chassis builder Jerry Haas in the white shirt to check that car over one more time for the final round against the defending world champ.
Bob Glidden, 1 car length, 1/10 of a second. The victor in this round of Pro Stock Eliminator. Now we go to Alcohol Dragster semifinals, Brett.
Well, John, on the starting line, Denny Lucas, the man who we saw runner-up at the recent Bristol Spring Nationals, takes on Bruce Horner. Now, Lucas's Colorado car in the far lane uses a Chrysler engine. Horner uses a Chevrolet power plant in the alcohol-burning dragster class. They leave the starting line in a good, even battle, but the Colorado racer starts to drive away early, and he goes to his second final round in a row at IHRA Racing. 6.36 seconds. John, he has consistently been the quickest and fastest car in this class.
Frustration on the starting line for this man. Look at this. He's trying to get his transmission in gear, and he can't do it. It's John Rose, as the burnout by Fred Arberg indicates that the #8 qualifier is ready to go. As you mentioned in the previous round, if you will, an odd motor in this class, as Arberg uses a 455 cubic inch Pontiac. They're trying to get Rose's engine started. Apparently, he killed it by trying to put the transmission in gear, and he's got some real problems. Meanwhile, Fred Arberg backs into stage his 455 alcohol-burning Pontiac-powered dragster as they continue administrations and ultimate frustration. Rose is ready to drag race. The car is not. He bangs his helmet in frustration, and Fred Arberg is going to single into the final round of Top Alcohol Dragster.
A tough break for Rose. His car's been running incredibly strong. By the way, Rose is driving Dennis Forsell's old Alcohol Dragster, the car that Dennis graduated out of. Fred Arberg gets a single into his first final, And John, you are looking at the ultimate luck for Fred Arberg. Something way wrong with this car. Arberg's car could barely leave the starting line under its own power, running exceptionally rich, a lot of fuel out of the exhaust pipes. And Fred will make it into the final, but only by the skin of his teeth.
The